Roz is going to look at Kestrel for a second and give her kind of a nod before she says the next thing that she does, but she's hoping... I can't say what the nod conveys. That's ridiculous. And she asks, so if this coven is interested in the greater good of Chroma, what comes to mind when I say the word curiosity?
And there's... I would say that trying to read her face, I guess I could make you roll a check. It doesn't appear to be much recognition in her face, but she says, well, curiosity can certainly be dangerous, but I don't feel I understand your meaning.
Kestrel will now interject and say, well, I suppose it would have been nice if somebody else knew what that all meant, but... Hi, I introduced myself as Kestrel before, but I heard that you had already been informed of me.
There's a bit of confusion, but she then says, you are the one who can enter other people's minds, their dreams.
Something like that, yes. So you don't know what curiosity is, but
she does look to you. She looks to Wolf. She says, you are druids. I see.
Yes, Dryad. I am. It's been a while since I've seen a Dryad since I was home. It's been a long time since I've been home.
And
so I suppose it is good to meet you in that way.
Where is your home? From which grove do you come from? Which court?
Folia, I was told I could trust you. So I just want you to know I'm taking a bit of a leap of faith in telling you, but I'm from the Heartwood. I'm from the Heartwood Grove inside the Ashen Cordon. My name is Kestrel, this is Wolf, and we have traveled a very far way away from there. But I promise you, I am not dangerous. And I will tell you anything you need to know.
And there's a moment of a genuine, surprise, a bit of shock on her face. But she looks at the two of you, even Wolf in his ridiculous outfit, and there's even a moment where she looks to Pickle for some reason. He seems happy and at ease. And you actually see her kind of reach up, and you notice she kind of wipes away a brief tear for a moment. And she says, you mean to tell me that the grove survived within? That it was not corrupted by the flesh curse?
Well, it's complicated. It survived. We all have our minds. And the grove still stands. Our tree stands proud and strong. I feel the spirits of thousands of our, the animals that have lived before us, the plants. I have met many dryads there before, though they look different than you, but it stands to this day, yes. But to say that it has not been touched by the flesh would be a lie. It has. And maybe that is a problem that you see, but we have come to live alongside it in our own way. to make it a part of what defines our grove, not as a curse, but something that we have embraced, and have turned into it's something that we can control. And that is how I can see how I can go into someone's mind or their spirit lands, and interact with them there.
And there's a number of emotions that kind of flash across your face as you're telling this to her. There's, surprise, worry, concern. She looks to the others at the table, sees that this is obviously not new information to anyone there. And then a certain level of awe, of interest. She reaches one of her hands out to the glass of water in front of her, dips a finger in it, and she says, "One moment." And she sort of kind of leans back, and it's almost like an eye drop, but she places it in both of her eyes for a moment, and she says something under her breath. And as she opens her eyes again, she looks at you, and you can see that it's almost like she's sort of looking through you a little bit. There's almost like a lack of focus, a haziness to her eyes as she does. And she says, "It's true. And she looks to the rest of you and she says, "You're all infected.
Oh, shit.
Yet you sit here and we have dinner. This is either the greatest trick anyone has ever played or a great miracle."
A miracle. I would like to we're all safe. It's okay. I promise. I am in control. It is the blood of the Heartwood, and it runs through my veins, and I have given it to them. But I didn't do it to hurt them. I have done it to protect them. With my blood in them, the flesh, outside entities, the ones like curiosity, hunger, terror, what's the other one? Sorry, I'm blanking. There's hunger, there's terror.
Beauty?
Anger. Oh, of course.
Anger.
The most important one to my character, sorry. And anger. They cannot touch them. But, curiosity, that one I don't have control over. It's hard to explain. The flesh curse that you understand, it is not just a physical, it's not just touching your flesh. Well, it touches your spirit on the inside and turns you. It's an entity kind of like the gods, but not. And that is why we of the Grove, who are in communion with those entities that have a ability to control them through our kin spirit, my kestrel houses them, I can protect them from this. And that is the reason why. I promise you, we're not dangerous.
And just to second what she's saying, you said it's a trick or a miracle. The truth is, I think it's important to realize it's neither. Kestrel's in control. From where she's from, this is very normal, very repeatable, controllable thing that is happening. You don't need to worry.
And she does look at you, Steve, as you say all of this. And there's a bit of a curious twist to her head as she listens to you. But she does she does say, "I believe you. Kestrel, if this is true, if you and your brother do come from, well, the court of old that we thought lost. This is unbelievably great news. But you are right to hide it. Not everyone will be as trusting or understand like I do. I am of a grove myself. I know what that connection means. Others will not. You say that there are other entities, beings, God-like,
Yes.
that... Well, then I suppose Neravine was right. She had suspected as much. It was her hypothesis on the flesh curse. She thought that there was more to it than just, well, the flesh itself. She spoke of a Dr. Sparkston, an encounter, an intelligence lurking within the flesh that spoke to the doctor. Many of us said that it was simply a possessed soul, necrotech. There was no way to be sure, but she suspected it was something else, something within the flesh speaking out. If what you're saying is true, well, then Neravine was right. But that does mean that I am concerned why she is not here, reveling in her victory, here and now.
I do know, I look to Roslyn, you are okay if I share the contents of your book. Is that okay?
Yes.
I do know that she made it to the grove. She spoke to my grandfather, Ursier. So she must have had some success. I don't know where she went after, I suppose. And I don't know what she found there.
And Fulia kind of seems to take the information in, and she has to take a bit of a deep breath, and she goes, I don't know if that's good news or bad. But any news is news, I suppose. Well, I suppose you've given me more information than I've given you in this regard. I must thank you for that, I suppose. Any news of Neravine's fate is good. If she made it that far, if she remained uninfected, perhaps she's still out there trying to do whatever it was that she was trying to do. But all of you, you can protect others, Kestrel. You say that you can protect others from the curse. Is this true? Have you managed to cure anyone? Do you know how? Do your people know how?
It's not a cure necessarily. And I am not capable of fully protecting against curiosity. It's not an instinct that lives in my kin spirit. My kin spirit has anger, it has terror, it has hunger. It does not have curiosity. We have kept it separate from us because it is more dangerous. So I can't cure anyone who's been affected by that entity. I can protect them somewhat. I can sense when they are affected by it. I can try, but it's not a cure. And to every life that I give my blood to, I feel them in here in my heart. And I cannot imagine what it would feel like to have tens, hundreds of feelings clamoring inside my chest.
And
So
she nods and she says, you have opened your grove to them, your inner grove to them. I see. Well then, I suppose you're right. It is not a cure. You've merely taken them under your wing, so to speak. Nevertheless, this is good to know. Protection is possible in some small way. This curiosity that you speak of, however, is this what drives these recent incidents? And she looks kind of to Albus, and she goes, your friend, I mean no disrespect, but I notice that you are of the white tiger folk, your own people. Is Kestrel why you have not lost your mind, as so many others of your clan have? Or is there some other reason?
I think on top of Kestrel's abilities, the friendship that I share with all of them has kept me in this realm of sanity. But something about Kestrel and her abilities just keeps me from pushing myself beyond.
On top of that all, Albus, if you don't mind me saying, you don't follow the same god as your brethren, and we are, as of yet, unsure what role that has played in it, although it seems more than nothing.
I mean, I follow two gods. So maybe my connection with a separate god keeps me from fully embracing one belief or faith and helps with that balance.
And Folia goes, I see. Well, I suppose that is a theory. It is certainly one that I've wondered myself, the connection between faith. In my time traveling here recently, I've noticed the Empire has been tightly controlling churches. Even the one here in town, they made sure that it was not to be open. I wonder if they have begun to piece together certain parts of this puzzle that you lay before me here.
Well, I will just say the last time I went into, someone's spirit, I did meet, I went and there was a tiger folk that was being kept, in a lab, and he was sedated, and when I went into his spirit lands, I did sort of meet the god of martial prowess, and he definitely was corrupted by curiosity, I think, anyway, to the best of my deductions.
To that, Folia seems a little... There's a great deal of worry that plays across her face, and you can see her eyes kind of dart about at nothing in particular. She seems to be mulling over something. If what you say is true, if it is possible for a god to become corrupted by this entity, this intelligence within the flesh curse, it stands to reason that the followers of that god would be susceptible as well. There's a bit of silence. She begins to kind of like bring her hand up and sort of pat her chin. I see. Some of us amongst the council, what little I know, what little I have warned myself to look out for, the flesh curse has become complacent, if such a thing can ever truly be said. It remains within the cordon, but From what I have heard, even the military and those around the cordon have found that it tests the borders less than it used to. It has grown timid, docile, predictable. There was a shift, as it were, a change. There are some of us that think it's that maybe we have just beaten it. However, some of us were concerned that the flesh curse may have been trying to pursue other means. Some thought it might be trying to get around the cordon, find some other means of escape. But if what you're telling me is true, or perhaps it is trying to find another way out. But it is not doing it here in the physical world, but elsewhere. A most concerning theory if true. There are no defenses in the realm of dreams that we have enacted or built. This, I don't mean to be an alarmist, but this could very well doom a great many people if what you tell me is true. Although I appreciate you sharing it with me. She seems a little struck by what the implications of some of this mean.
I have told you true. I assure you of that. And had we a blood bond, I'd show it to you. But as we do not, you'll have to take my word on it. I could show you. My.
Do we have any of the more of those books?
No. But that being said, I feel like you're right, and I've learned a lot about this thing called trade recently, and it feels like I gave you a lot of important information just now, and I was just wondering if you had anything to offer in exchange, because it feels like I just gave you a gift.
And
brings up a good point.
She does smile a little bit, and she goes, I see that they have taught you their ways out here, young Kestrel. Trade is indeed a form of, payment is, of course, should be expected in situations like this. As for what I can offer you, I suppose I can offer you a great many things. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for? Although, I should warn you, our trade has not yet concluded. So be careful what you ask for now. I may still have more questions that I may ask of you.
Well, I suppose our negotiations are still open, but all I want, because you don't know anything about anything that could help me, is anything that could help Rosalind find her sister, and anything that can help Gunnulf with his affliction. The affliction in question is the one that affects the people of the Northlands from the journal. Do you know anything about any of these things?
She goes, yes, I suppose you would be Scotty's son? Yes?
Mm-hmm.
She goes, I thought you looked familiar. I don't know, unfortunately, what it is that Neravine discovered in the north. But I do.
Is there?
But I do know she discovered something. There is an answer up there, but it wasn't an answer to the flesh curse, which was Neravine's ultimate goal. Your mother has passed, yes?
Yes. Yeah. And as far as I'm aware, I'm the only one that I know of that is currently dealing with the advanced stages of the affliction.
And she looks to your hand, and she goes, I see. Well, outside of going and finding the answers myself in the north, I don't know that I can tell you anything you don't already know. I wish I could be of more help in that endeavor, but Neravine kept things very close to her chest. And what little discussions we had of the curse that affected your mother, it was of my opinion that if it was a curse, and by all reasons it looks as though it may be, I reasoned that it was either, well, whatever it is something that someone has allowed to remain hidden. I find it unlikely that certain individuals, powerful ones, those who go about their way to find such curses, would not have tried to weaponize unless there was reason not to. Curses are like weapons. Once one is made, it's not something that you can just put away again. Someone will use it. Your own existence is proof that someone, somewhere, for some reason, has access to this. But with no known cure, it's dangerous. Wouldn't surprise me if someone was keeping it hidden for a reason.
Well, if you don't know anything, you said you're a witch, yeah? You were making something to try to help the people in the farm that are asleep right now? You're trying to make something. Do you think there's anything that you could make to help him, like, stop the flow of his curse? Anything.
Or even just to ease
to
the
slow
symptoms. Something, I mean, you're a talented apothecary. I know you're not familiar with his case, but if you examined him, could there be something that could at least make his life easier while we try and find an answer?
She goes, well, I would have to look at your arm. I would have to inspect it a bit closer than just a cursory glance here at dinner, but I might be able to come up with something. But I should warn you, the curse that afflicts your arm is one of the soul. It isn't something that a mere remedy of the body can fix. It is something that, if it were possible, I would have helped Neravine fix some time ago. This is not a new problem. It is an old one. I, myself, well, it will probably do you no... It won't make you feel any better to know that I had other things that had concerned me at the time. Neravine would have denied me the right to travel with her. I have my own journeys to go about, my own companions to see to. But if you would like me to look into it, I can do what I can to help. If there are remedies that I can provide you, even some not for what afflicts you, I can provide you what I can. I have other magics as well that I should be able to assist you with. It's true, you have done me a great deal. The trade is unfair, it's true. And it, unfortunately, will probably become even less fair. I still have questions of my own, but...
Maybe we're going to pause on those questions. Maybe the lady, next time lead with, you don't know any... I'm not saying.
Yeah.
Well,
Jeez.
I may have a way to balance the scales, as it were. And I hesitate to raise this without asking my companions, and any decision would still come down to their wishes as well, to be very clear, but perhaps the way you could repay us is by allowing us to meet with your council. We are united in purpose, but limited in allies. And all we see as we travel together is more and more problems with this world, more and more problems with the people running it. You mentioned the Empire maybe starting to wrap their head around a solution. I think the Empire is just now realizing the scope of what they're facing, and they're not prepared for it. When this was the Stone Curse, it was easy. Cordon everything off. It's a physical affliction to stop it from spreading. But what we're seeing now seems to suggest that it is no longer that simple. And though Kestrel is capable of many things, solving this on her own, or just the 6 of us, is not something that we can do. If this coven is truly interested in the best interests of Chroma, perhaps there is some kind of kinship of our own, a way to be allies, a way to be a force for good in the world. But to do that is a far greater leap of trust than what Kestrel has already given you today.
And she nods. And she says, well, it is tricky for me to facilitate such a thing. The location in which we meet is special, I suppose, would be the best way to describe it. It is not here in this plane of existence, as it were. It is someplace very special, and it is that unique nature that keeps the conversations there, and not here. However, I have already given you the names of all 6 members of the council, at least as they are known amongst ourselves. With this information, you should be able to identify any of them, at least those that you come across or know of. I can only do so much to point you in their direction, but what I can do is I can call a meeting of my own and discuss with the other members what I have learned, which you have shared with me today. And I can impress upon them the importance of this. I do not think I will have to impress very hard. If what you say is true, I believe it will be relevant to all of them and the groups and organizations that they are in turn associated with. I guess what I'm saying is that I cannot facilitate a meeting of you with them, but I can do all within my power that they meet with you. Is that okay?
I think it's something we would have to talk about as a group, but I don't trust the Empire, and I know I'm not alone in that. And
nor do all the members of the council, for what it's worth. If you are seeking to allies against the Empire, there are those that exist that could aid you in that endeavor.
I just don't know how to go about trying to fix what's wrong with this world. And even in the short term, even if such a meeting were possible, we have more pressing things to get to. We need to get Albus to his home and see what is happening there. We need to figure out what we can do to help Gunnulf. We need a lot of things. But
we need to help the people of Casimir, in which you are already helping out with. We need to figure out why Steve is here. There's a lot of things we need help with.
And we need to figure out why the Empire is fine with someone such as Kestrel being on the loose after running experiments on her for so long. They have just essentially let us walk around without consequence. And there has already been one reason why I think that lack of consequence maybe should have been rescinded from what our former ally did. And those questions are not going to be easy to ask or get answers from the Inquisitors on. So all of this is to say, we have a lot of things we need to do for the people within our own group, but I've started to worry that there are many, many more out there that need, if not our assistance, someone's. Maybe Neravine is on that same path, I don't know, but What I do know is the six of us can do a lot together, but there are still limits to it. And again, if the Coven is really interested in protecting this world, it may be a conversation worth having if they're willing to have it.
And she says, well, getting the Coven together outside of where we usually meet, I hate to say it, but it is all but impossible. There are certain rites and rituals, there are protections put in place, identities that are kept secret, this sort of thing. But like I said, while I cannot bring you to the council or the council chambers, I can petition the council to meet you, as I have here, and as Nervine no doubt would have met you herself. Do you all have a name for yourselves, your little group here? Do you call yourselves anything? Is there some way that I could pass along that you and your mission is something that people should be fighting for?
Sounds like Steve can think of something.
We've never talked about it.
A group name?
A group name.
It is about time for one.
I'm just saying, it hasn't happened yet.
A bird and her worms.
Yes, there you go.
My suggestion would be the Wings of Hope.
The Wings of Hope! That's a great name!
Okay, if that's what you give. She says, very well. I will pass along that the Wings of Hope are to be uplifted wherever they are found. If I pass this on to the Coven, to the Council, and they pass it on to their contacts, you should find yourself with no small number of allies in places you may not expect it. And I will ask that my fellow members of the Council greet you where they can, when they can, that they assist you and that they make themselves known. I don't know that it will be relevant everywhere you go, especially not a place like Casimir, but I've no doubt that some of them will be of use to you in the future, given what goals of yours you've shared with me.
Well, I suppose before we try and weigh the ledger, if you have other questions, now is the time. I also cannot guarantee that those questions will be answered, or at the very least, you should be able to ask them.
She looks to you, Steve, and she says, you are not of this world, correct?
That's correct.
And she says, may I ask who brought you here?
Just woke up one day in the road
And,
met Gunnolf.
She kind of gives you a bit of a smile, and she goes, I see. Well, you are certainly welcome to keep some secrets to yourself, I suppose. Or perhaps you do not know. What I will say is that you bear the mark of Baba Yaga and her magic. If you were not aware of that, you should be aware of it. She is not one to do things without purpose. And if she brought you here, it must have been for a reason, even if that reason is hers and hers alone.
Sure,
So
maybe
do take care.
maybe if the rest of this council shows up, something in my memory will get triggered.
She nods and she goes, I see. Well, then I suppose I should do what I can to implore the council to meet with you. And she goes, well, that is... No, I suppose I have one more question. Kestrel, your companions earlier had mentioned that you might be able to assist in helping me heal those that had bore witness to a great many things in Casimir. I understand now the nature of that help and what it may look like. I ask because I am unsure of exactly what it is that I face. I know it is not uncommon for those that have fought against the flesh curse, the creatures and abominations therein, nightmares, terrors. Oftentimes the mind is scarred more than the body ever was. But this terror seems to linger in these people. It is a fear that I cannot uproot. I would ask that you assist me in trying to free them, if you are willing to. But, by no means, do not feel pressured into doing so.
I've already discussed this. And I already agreed before you came. They gave me the option to refuse, obviously, as they are my friends, but... You say terror. Do you mean, like, terror on like a spiritual level, like the entity I speak of earlier? Do you mean that strong? Or...
I must admit, before this conversation, I was not aware of these things, but I would say yes. They fear what they saw. They fear that it is within them, that it will follow them. It is a fear unlike any other that I have seen, and it sticks with them in ways that this sort of mental sickness should not. Like I said, there have been many who have seen the horrors of the front line, of the flesh curse, things done to their friends and allies. The mind can become troubled, but this is something that sticks with them. A sickness that I cannot get rid of. If what you say is true, then perhaps this entity, this fear, perhaps it is this. And if you and your kin spirit have mastered it, if you can uproot it and drive it out, you may be one of the only ones who can assist me in cleansing their minds of this taint.
Yes, actually, I am, and I can. I I am more afraid of curiosity than I am of fear. To know that is the entity I will encounter is actually rather reassuring. Yeah, I will try. I did not have success on my last go, but that was curiosity, and this is terror. This is one I know. Wolf?
And Wolf, he nods and he goes, "You are far stronger in all of the spirit walking than I ever was, Kestrel. I believe that you can do this."
Okay. Yeah, I can do this. It'll be alright. I will help you. I will. But I would ask that, I am going to need my, companions to come with me. And I would strongly urge you to provide us with some aid for our travels ahead in exchange for this.
And she nods and she goes, "Certainly. I will do what I can to stock you all up with as many of my finest potions and elixirs as I can, and obviously the other things we've discussed. When we do this, I will also, with your approval, be going along, if that is something that you would allow."
Thank you.
And she says, "I should. I have my own inner grove. If you open yours up to me, then I should be able to enter it, and through you, those that you touch."
But I give people access to mine through my blood. That is the connection I form.
And she goes, I see. Well, you should probably understand that those of us who come from other groves, we are able to build a connection similar to you without blood. So if you open yourself to me, I can make a connection to you. We do not need...
I don't need to give that to you, though, right? I don't need to?
Correct. At least not to me. In the same way that you open yourself to others through the blood, I can... Well, to say that I open myself up to you would be incorrect, but I can extend a bridge, and if you open the door, well, then I can join along.
What do you think you will see that you want to when you go with me? To understand? Is that what you want, or...?
Well, I would hope that I can simply assist you in any way that I can. Although I would be lying if I didn't say I wanted to see for myself what your inner grove looks like, what that reflection of the lost grove is. I myself am a child of the Wonderlust woods. Your grove is my grove, in a way. Long-lost siblings, as it were. To some degree, we share a family, and
I know
it
the
would be
stories.
nice.
I
That
know
is
the
good.
tales.
It is good.
But you have to understand that is a very deeply intimate experience. To put somebody in there is an act of trust that I do not extend just, to strangers. So...
She nods and she says, and if you would like to turn me down, I would understand. The connection would only be for this one time. You do not need to extend it to any other time, merely this one ritual.
I know.
Maybe we can give Kestrel a little bit of time to think it over. Talk with the group and we can let you know.
She nods and she says, I only seek to offer us whatever aid I can. But, of course, I understand. Well...
Not to be rude.
Of course not, of course not. No harm. I am in no way insulted. Well, I suppose as usual, I've barely touched any of my dinner. Well, nevertheless, I will return to the farm. If you have anything else that you would like to ask of me, let me know. I will get to work in what I can and prep what rituals and potions and elixirs I can as well. Wish you all a good night, and come along, Pickle. And she sort of puts her hand out, and Pickle kind of waddles over and hops into it, and she sort of puts him into a little jar that's hanging on her hip there, and he's just sort of, and then she grabs her water and pours it into it, so it's got some water into it, and he floats onto it like he was before. With that, she kind of stands. She grabs the little bowl in the veggie stew, and she nods her head to Lori behind the bar, and Lori gives her a, have a good night. And Polia's like, of course. And then she goes to leave.
I would like to wave goodbye to Pickle.
Okay, you wave goodbye to Pickle, and Pickle gives you a, bye, friend. Bye, nice bird. Bye, everyone.
Jason, do I know why I would know Serafina?
So you do. I can tell you why you have heard the name before.
Okay, and that doesn't have to happen right now. I was just going to say, if I don't know why, which I know sounds weird grammatically, but whatever, then I would follow her out. But
you do know, and I can give you I could give you a brief rundown now if you want. This is where I have a whole document on New Kesslov to give you. Suffice to say, she is a figure of some infamy, I guess, or fame, depending, I guess, on which side of a particular conflict you side with in New Keslov. They are rather, but you know of her. Her name is not it's not unknown to you.
Yeah.
I guess is what I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's fine. I will not chase after her.
Okay.
Once she has
with
left,
that-
then
Mhm.
I will look at Kestrel. I will say, thank you for doing that.
Of course.
And you still don't have
I only
to,
want-
by the way. This is in the
It's
morning.
not about.
We can talk about it. You can sleep on it. If you change your mind, that's still within your right.
I know. You've told me. But. You know. Yeah. You guys have given me something that I cannot even begin to hope to repay. And that is a second chance at living. You know? It's the reason I get to go and dance now and to eat good food and to take my brother shopping for bad clothes. I get to do that because of you all. And I will do everything in my power to repay that great gift that you have given me. So I know I don't have to, but I will, Roslyn. So thank you. And this is what I will give to you.
I'm sorry if I overstepped. I usually sort of try and take a back seat and just weigh in when spoken to, but I do think there could be some benefit, if what she says is true, to meeting with the other witches and the other members of the Coven, because I am not impressed by the Empire. I've not been impressed by the Inquisitors. And the fact that something like curiosity lurks throughout the world and not just the Cordon scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. But I'll be honest, the whole world's kind of scary and wonderful at the same time to me, so it's kind of hard to know what kinds of new things are the scary good kind or the scary bad kind. So,
But we at least
guess we
know.
won't know until we meet them.
Right. And we at least have some idea. I worry that... I'm not going to sound like Steve. I must be traveling with him too much, but I think part of why the Empire is being so controlling on this is to stop the population from knowing that it is not just a physical curse. It's contained, it's taken care of. It clearly isn't. And unfortunately, the White Tiger folk paid the price for that. And I worry that if the Empire keeps withholding information, sure, it might stop people from panicking, and that is helpful in a way, but there may be more villages that end up just like Albus's, and that's the part that worries me.
I understand.
We don't have to make a decision on that for a while, and who knows, we may come across others in our travels that help us decide whether that is the right decision or not. Or we could go before them, and if we don't find their answers to our liking, we cut ties there, but I at least think if Neravine was both talented enough, but also in alignment with them enough to join their ranks, that it gives me a little bit more hope that perhaps our goals align.
Well, I'm all in, so you know.
Well, I must say, this food is not as good as yours, Albus.
I warned you.
And this, it has been brought to my attention. Marie has shared with me that to become a cook like you do is to be like a hunter like me. Great skill. You must know which foods to track down, to bring to the table, and how to... you do not kill them, I understand this, but My appreciation for you has grown, my friend, as I have now eaten what others have made, and it is not as good.
Now it's time to slow dance.
True.
Trust me, that was on my.
Lori's in the background. She's like, I did my best. I
Yeah,
don't-"
she's like, God damn it.
One other question, real quick, just before we change gears or slow dance or whatever. Jason,
Yeah?
did and if Roz doesn't know this, don't answer. But did Folia see infection in Roz? She said you are all
Oh.
infected.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if there's any way for Rosalind to know what she meant, but I will say that when she was looking about at everybody, she would not have been looking at you when she said that.
Okay.
She was speaking a little... She was not speaking hyper specifically
Sure.
when she said that.
All right.
Yeah.
Good enough. That's all I had. Thank you.
So I'm hitting play on the fucking jukebox.
Ding.
And I'm saying,
Actually-
look, we have this music box. I don't know when we're gonna get another one, and I'm gonna take advantage of it. Got a slow dance coming up now, so grab a partner. And I can show you how to do it. If you don't already know. Even though I didn't win the dance competition, but that's okay. Sharp, if you would grant me this dance.
Okay.
Great.
I did some dancing back in my day.
And we just do a basic hand back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not like the middle school, you know.
No.
Leave room for Jesus.
The
Yeah.
waddling.
Yeah.
True. On today of all days.
Yeah.
That's true.
Cool, that is probably better.
So who else?
So you're
is
like
going?
you're inviting everybody to come up and slow dance or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we don't have our Newt friend to be a dance partner.
That's true.
It's true.
That's
It's
right.
been
Poor
taken.
Pickle. Poor Pickle. All he wanted to do was dance.
Is Tucker still around?
Yeah, is Tucker still around?
Yeah.
Tucker has been keeping himself busy kind of over by the bar, but as soon as like you guys boot up the jukebox and you're talking about a slow dance, he does look over Kestrel's way.
Oh.
I'm doing that thing that, girls do when they're sitting down at a school dance and they just kind of twiddle their thumbs at the table and, look like
okay.
they need somebody to come rescue them.
He does. He starts walking over, and he comes over and he says, he's like, well, you want to give it a try? The slow dance thing?
I've never done this kind either. But,
It's
could
okay.
you
Yeah.
show me?
Yeah. Just, follow my lead. It'll be okay.
Oh, all right.
Kind of puts out a hand and helps you to your feet. And, yeah.
Of course, I take his hand.
Yeah, it's been a bad day for Connor.
She's still sitting down, like right here, looking at this
Right.
happen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He's
He's
like
good
he. I feel like he was like standing up and he was like, "Hey," and then.
Snooze you lose, got off.
Yeah, well, Tucker, you went out. He's a big buck and all that.
Early bird gets the worm.
A big buck.
True. Or the early buck gets the bird.
Yeah.
So
Fortune favors the bold.
yeah.
He who hesitates is lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, I take his
you
hand.
missed 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was told patience.
Too much patience. A little too much patience.
That was not patience in every regard, just maybe the ones about love confessions.
But yeah, so he lifts you to your feet. He walks you out to where Sharp and Steve are, and he kind of shows you like you can take your hand. One hand goes on like his shoulder. He takes your
Mhm.
other hand. He's got the other one over at your waist, and he just sort of like you just kind of follow with my feet. And he kind of, he even says, like, I guess it depends on how well you're following, but he'll even let you, if you want to put, like, your feet on his little hooves and just stand on them, he can also do that as well.
Oh, that's kind of. I'm gonna give the moves a try a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
do the
you know,
moves.
if I
That's like
start
a-
screwing it up.
If he's trying to be romantic, that's kind of like a dad-daughter sort of dance thing.
Yeah.
Might not be the vibe he's going for.
Oh,
He, you can tell. I can't remember. Are you wearing shoes?
I don't know.
Yeah. So I think his concern, and he says as much, is that he's got like hooves and you've got like
Human
like
feet?
little toesies potentially. So he was just worried that he was going to step on.
It's okay. I think I'm wearing shoes anyway. Well, I don't know. I got long, gangly toenails. I'm wearing shoes. Don't worry about it.
You're wearing shoes? Okay. Then he won't like suggest that as heavily unless you're like
Mhm.
really messing up the moves. Then that
Yeah.
was yeah.
also for
Is
the
he-
record, I think
sorry.
Twilight did the like Bella was on.
It did do that.
I think
yeah.
Oh.
It's
Were they flying in that one or no?
No,
no, they were like at their high school dance.
Gazebo, okay.
Oh, I'm thinking of Superman or something nonsensical. That's fine.
But
Yeah.
but then to circle back, I would say Twilight is not necessarily the barometer for like what is perfectly
What is
normal.
romantic?
Well, I know, but it's not always a father-daughter gross pedophile
I
shit.
didn't say that.
You implied it.
True.
uh,
We're both teenagers, okay?
yeah, and we're in
No.
love.
Well, I didn't say that.
Albus, are you dancing? What's going on?
Sure, I'll dance.
Wolf, will
Are you-
take this dance?
You got a Rosalind and the waitress.
Wolf.
And Wolf and Gunolf.
Apparently, the consensus
And
is
Wolf and
Wolfgang
Gandalf.
Gandalf looks like he could use a dance, so.
We are not
I'm gonna-
anti-DEI here. Pick Wolf.
Oh, it's a big decision. Don't fucking pressure him.
I'm gonna walk. I don't know where Wolf is, but I'm gonna walk up to him.
Uh-huh.
Woo, woo, woo.
and talk to him and say, I don't really understand the etiquette of what a slow dance is. We don't have this where I come from. But you and I are in similar stature, and I feel that might be beneficiary toward whatever this is. Would you like to join me?
And he nods and he goes, I would like to give this a try. The dancing earlier was fun, and I agree. We should not look quite as awkward as Kestrel does with that taller boy there.
How tall is he? Out of curiosity.
I don't know. He's
Oh no! Curiosity,
Oh, yeah.
she said it.
Sorry,
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry, I'm sorry.
How
Don't
much-
be curious.
And give us the measurement in terms of like how much taller than Gunolf would you say?
Oh, okay. Well,
And how big are his feet?
Gunnel's pretty. I
He's
heard.
a short guy.
I say Gunnel's pretty short, isn't he? So,
Oh no.
I don't know. God, it could plus antlers. Are we counting with antlers or without antlers?
Without
antlers.
antlers. That doesn't count.
I don't know. He's like 5'8", 5'9",
Oh,
and
that's
then
not-
he's got some antlers on him.
Gross.
Yeah.
Break up with him.
Okay. What?
You're over.
I'm like 5'1". It's okay.
Yeah. So he's not a full like foot taller than you, but
Okay.
no. Well, I mean, he is if you include the antlers, but
Okay.
Yeah.
He only said they were just coming in.
Amanda.
they are just they are like kind of just they're not very big.
Says Gunolf
but-
from this
but
side.
Right. He's a grower, not a
So anyway,
shower.
Albus and Wolf.
So yes, Wolf joins Albus up there, and he seems they're unsure. Wolf's like, where should we put our hands? How does this work?
Yeah, and I'll just kind of call over, like, the hand and then the back, and then, it helps to have one of you be the lead. You guys can choose which one.
Armor
It's very
support.
easy. No pressure. We're just practicing the steps here.
Okay, is it Albus or is it Wolf that's the lead?
I'll let Wolf lead.
Okay,
You.
and So he tries his best to follow along. I kind of want to make like a roll for him here. I want to see how
Rolls
well
a
he
one and
does.
just throws helmets across the room.
Insight Dex.
At 11, 11's okay. So he's not bad. He's getting the hang of it with Albus there. Especially if Albus is following Wolf's lead. That's pretty decent. But yeah, so there's some slow dancing there. I don't know if Rosalind and Gunnulf want to get involved.
No.
Aw.
Rosalind's so over this.
I would talk to Sharp while we're dancing. I'd just be like, you know, hey, you're pretty good at this. Not your first time, I'm assuming.
I did dance at my wedding.
Was that the last time?
No, Leopold and I would dance sometimes in our living room.
That's cute. Do you find yourself thinking about him a lot now?
Off and on, but I've gotten so used to not thinking about him that I kind of just slide back into my old ways a little bit, but
Yeah, he was gone for a long time. I can't imagine what hearing that news must have been like.
yeah. It was weird. I don't know, I've never experienced it. And so I've gotten really good at compartmentalizing. And so
You know, I keep hearing how much you all don't feel things. And I just have to say I haven't seen that from you. You seem to have as much emotion and reaction as the rest of us to everything that's going on. So
thank you. Yeah, I'm curious if bad word. I'm wondering if a lot of that was like I worked on it to make sure that I conveyed as much as I could for my daughter. You know, like really trying to connect back into those emotions and everything so that she feels a connection and that she knows that I'm someone with her.
do you feel like you're genuinely feeling these things, or have you just been pretending for so long that it's become second nature?
I'd like to think that I'm genuinely feeling them. But I'm not sure if like because I'm just so like, oh, this happens, I need to feel this. It's just such a habit now. But I would hope that it's such a habit that I am genuinely,
Yeah.
you know?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
No, to be honest, that was a trick question. I think pretty clearly you're feeling everything. So don't. If you ever doubt it or second guess yourself, I don't think you have anything to worry about. I don't see you any differently, especially after these days spent together, than anyone else on this team.
Well, thanks for saying that. I'm happy that it shows, because obviously I don't know what's happening
Yeah,
here.
it shows. It shows.
So-
I wanted to say also thank you for, I think Kestrel's been through a lot, and we look over and she's making out with
Oh
Tucker.
shit!
And I just say, being able to come back and not just seeing her in high spirits, but dancing and playing with Newt. I think you had a part in that, and you helped keep her spirits up.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Pickle.
So it's a pickle, not a newt. I'll have you know.
Yeah, right.
He's-
Yeah,
He's not new.
yeah, my
Outside.
best
I'm a
friend.
pickle! Yeah, no, I definitely. Yeah, I don't know, and maybe it's just what I've been through and whatnot is, yeah, I kind of try to help not, I try to help people not get stuck or, can't think of the word, but,
Yeah.
you know, I try to promote, like, moving on in like a healthy way and like finding the positives,
Yeah.
even in darker times.
I see you with Kestrel, and I think of you with your daughter, and I think you must be a pretty good mom.
Wow, thank you. I definitely try.
Well, I'm gonna spin you now, and then I'm gonna dip you. So
Oh
be ready for that.
God, okay. I hope I don't
And
get
As a
emotion-
demonstration, let's see you do it
And
now.
let me do the thing.
And no, you and Sean and Maisel, let's see you dip.
Oh, just
Yeah.
in real.
No, sir.
So
No, sir.
Kestrel,
You guys do like flips and stuff on ropes. You can't do a spin.
No.
what are Kestrel and Tucker talking about, or are they just looking longingly into each other's eyes?
You know, if you guys were to do the spin and the dip, maybe I'd look over and be like, that looks kind of fun. Can we do that?
And Tucker's like, yeah, let's give it a try. Okay. Can't say I've ever done it with somebody else, but I'm
What the
game.
fuck does that mean?
Have you done it by yourself?
I've only done it with my
Dancing
broom.
with myself.
No, he's never done it. That's what he's trying to say.
I didn't say that. I said that as Maya, not as Kestrel, okay?
But he's like, okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he kind of tries to do a bit of a spin.
Uh-huh.
Kind of tries to spin with you,
Yeah.
and then
I
he does
twirl
the
along with
dip.
it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I need some dice rolls here. What do we got?
Mhm.
Oh, what kind of dice?
Dance off.
I get. It's gonna be his dex and your dex is what I think
Oh,
we're
it's
gonna do.
competing.
Here.
Oh, I see. We're just rolling
Let's see
decks.
who did
No. Like you roll one, you roll your dex, he rolls his dex. We're gonna see how the two of you do together.
Right.
That's what I said.
You each have one dice in the 2-die check.
/R. The 1 million.
Oh.
Because I'm that good. Just
Oh, he
kidding,
rolled-
it's a 6.
He rolled a 9.
5.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Okay. 14.
Yeah,
pretty
that's
good.
pretty good. This is the second
pretty
place
good.
finisher. Doing pretty well.
Yeah, with the last place finisher, but doing pretty well now.
Hey,
Who he's stuck with.
Right. He did roll better than her, so it still makes sense.
Yeah.
well, it's the reason he's the lead, so.
hmm but it's good. It went really well. It felt pretty natural. If you were supported the whole time. You guys didn't lose balance. The judges are giving it like a 7.5 out of 10.
Mhm. When he pulls me up, are we standing really close, or is
Oh,
there
for sure.
God
Of course.
in there?
No, there's no God. No,
Okay. There's
Yeah.
no God.
Oh.
there's no God. Not here.
You have smushed Jesus.
Yeah, as we're standing really close, I go, hey, Tucker. You think you'll ever go and leave this place and travel and see the world yourself?
And he kind of there's a bit of a sparkle in his eye, like as he kind of thinks about it. He goes, I really hope so someday. I don't want to be here forever. I'd like to see the world, go to places, like you.
Very pretty. I'm glad you asked me to dance, by the way, because as much as I've traveled a lot, I only just started recently doing it, living, and this has been real lively. I think you should travel someday, Tucker, because life's a little too short to not live it,
And he's like, yeah, I think you're right, Kestrel. Life is worth living. And I should go out and try to live it. And he kind of looks you in the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
He was waiting to see if you were going to lock eyes with him too.
I'm looking looking dead in his eyes right now. We're having a very, very heartfelt conversation, you know,
Okay.
with no room between us, nice and
Yeah.
warm.
He tries to kiss you.
Okay. I don't know really
I was
what
gonna
a
say
kiss
this is a great kissing
but-
song.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let it happen.
Okay.
You know?
It does. You're definitely not a very good kisser in this moment, since you don't know what the fuck you're supposed to be doing.
I have a question.
Wow,
I
get
do have a
fucked.
question.
Making out, right? We're not like making out. It's just like
No.
a like.
just like he gives you like a
It's
kiss on the
just
lips.
But I have a question.
It's just a smooch.
Are you
Okay.
engaged in the kissing, right? Or are you being kissed?
yeah.
Like, you're-
Kind of like
yeah.
and you're just like looking
Yeah.
at him, or are you trying
Are
to
you
like,
just the-
oh, I want to do what he's doing and kind of meet him?
There will be a moment of confusion, maybe, to react, right?
Yeah.
Where I don't
Mhm.
quite process what's going on, but like, I dig, and I'll lean in a little bit, you know, and
Okay.
try.
Hot.
Okay. It's definitely
It's
not,
not
the
cute
most
anymore, it's hot.
exciting.
Mm.
Okay.
It's
Sorry,
not.
it's so funny. I just got text from my fiance saying, "Who is Kestrel making out with? I'm gonna beat him up."
Oh, beat his ass.
so
Hey, it's not Gunoff. That's good.
Right. I mean, while Gunoff's over there doing an Arthur fist.
That's so funny.
Very
Yeah.
cute.
Gunnolf's just gonna, with this going on, he's gonna step out again.
Okay.